The neighbor across from me suddenly posted a message in the homeowners group chat. I have an announcement to make. My wife is pregnant. To ensure she can rest peacefully during her pregnancy, I've drafted a resident code of conduct for this building. He then proceeded to list 10 commandments. No renovations, no pet dogs, no stir-frying at home, no elevator use at night, no phone usage when encountering my wife. 1. First, my wife may fall asleep at any time, so residents of this building are prohibited from making any noise day or night. Second, during my wife's pregnancy, residents of this building are prohibited from any form of renovation. Third, my wife is afraid of dogs. Keeping dogs is prohibited. Those who currently have dogs must dispose of them within 3 days. Fourth, due to radiation concerns, anyone encountering my wife in the elevator is prohibited from looking at their phones. 9, my wife can't stand the smell of cooking oil fumes. Residents on the 16th floor are prohibited from stir-frying at home. 10, the elevator door opening is too loud. After 9 p.m., residents on the 16th floor are forbidden from using the elevator. My lips twitched. Is his wife carrying a dragon fetus? Where does he get the nerve to make such ridiculous demands? Especially since there are only 2 households per floor. Those last 2 rules are clearly targeting me. This guy kept giving orders. Starting today, all residents of this building must consciously abide by this code of conduct. Now the group admin helped me tag everyone. Strangely enough, no one in the group cursed at him. They could hold back, but I couldn't. I immediately fired back. What does your wife's pregnancy have to do with us? Did the whole building's men pool money to make this kid? To the neighbor across the hall was furious. What the hell are you saying? You looking for a fight? Let me tell you, my wife's pregnancy is the most important thing right now. Anyone who dares to disturb her will have to deal with me. Which unit are you from, you little bastard? Why, ISNT there. Any note about you, admin? Is this guy even from our building? If not, kick him out. Oh, what a tough guy. What a pity. I've seen too many of these loudmouths who love to talk big. I said who I am is none of your business. The child in your wife's belly has nothing to do with others, so you have no right to interfere with other people's actions. From across the hall came a voice that cursed every ancestor in my family tree. Then even tried to add me as a friend, but I ignored him. The Annie downstairs who added me to the group chat sent me a private message. Xiao Zhou, you'd better not mess with the family in Unit 16. Oh, well, everyone in the building knows if you offend them, you can forget about having peace. The previous tenant in 1602 moved out precisely because they couldn't take it anymore. No wonder no one else dared to speak up in the group. They're all afraid of bringing trouble upon themselves. But the more you say that, the more interested I become. My buddy might not be good at much, but when it comes to dealing with scoundrels, he's got plenty of experience. 1601 was still yapping in the group chat, spewing the same old vulgarities over and over. I'd long since become immune to that kind of talk anyway. There's plenty of time ahead. No point wasting energy arguing with him. I just turned off my phone and went to sleep. The next day, I went out drinking with my buddies. When I got back and stepped out of the elevator, there was a massive pickled cabbage vat sitting right in front of my door. It was the hottest time of August and September, the air thick and humid, carrying a sour, putrid stench. Hard to tell whether it smelled more like rotting fish and shrimp or festering stagnant water. Fucking hell, the stench was enough to make you puke. No need to guess, it was definitely the handiwork of a neighbor across the hall. 3, I went straight to knock on their door. A burly bald man with a fierce face came out looking very impatient. Who the hell are you? What do you want? I pointed at the pickled cabbage vat. This is yours, right? It's not proper to leave it outside. The man looked me up and down first, then raised his chin. How was it inappropriate? This smell is way too strong. Who could stand it? Can't stand it, then tough it out. My pregnant wife craves sour stuff. I can't possibly keep it home, stinking up the place, can I? So he actually knew this thing stank. If you must put it there, at least put it in front of your own door. You're blocking mine so badly I can barely open it. Are you blind? Can't you see my side is already full? Your empty space is just going to waste anyway. Besides, this is a shared area, first come first served. If you're mad, blame yourself for not claiming it first. The shameless righteousness in his tone. If this were anyone else, they'd probably have a heart attack from sheer frustration. I hadn't even said anything more when the bald man started turning the tables on me. Look who's talking. How dare you come to me? It's already 10 o'clock now. Didn't I tell you yesterday that the elevator can't be used after 9 because it disturbs my wife's rest? If you can't remember, should I print those words out and stick them on your door? Damn, it's so similar, exactly like that dead look my middle school dean used when scolding students. With this kind of person, clearly reason 1T get through. I didn't waste any more words, turning my head and walking straight home. But when I reached that pickled cabbage vat, my steps faltered. I retched a few times first, then with a loud bleck I vomited. The murky, viscous vomit splattered entirely into that stinking vat of pickled vegetables. Thank goodness not a single drop had stained the floor or my clothes. The bald man's hand that was about to close the door froze, and his eyes nearly popped out of his head at the sight. Holy shit, are you fucking crazy? For thank God my door has a fingerprint lock. I swiftly opened it and darted inside in a flash. By the time the bald man shuffled over in his slippers, I had already slammed the door shut. A pig slaughtering howl of curses erupted from outside. Then his wife came out too, asking in panic what had happened. And so the cursing shifted from one voice to two. My mood improved considerably as I simply pretended not to hear. That vat of stinky pickled vegetables is completely ruined now. Drunk as I slept like a log and had no idea how long the shouting outside lasted before it finally stopped. When I stepped out the next day, a stench, even worse than the pickles, hit me square in the face, nearly knocking me out. I quickly pinpointed the source of the foul odor. Holy crap, someone smeared shit on my door. No wonder nobody in this building dares to mess with the neighbors across the hall. That couple is truly capable of anything. I hired someone to clean the door and didn't confront the neighbors about it. Reasoning only works with reasonable people. When dealing with scoundrels, you have to out-scoundrel them. I bought a bottle of high-concentration, Scatol non-toxic, but extremely foul-smelling. When the couple went out together, I sneaked over and gave their door frame and doormat a thorough baptism, not sparing the dozen or so shoes scattered on the floor. I sprayed them all generously. When the couple returned that evening, they stopped halfway while unlocking the door with their key. Then the husband and wife started sniffing around like dogs, first the door frame, then the floor, and finally the shoes the woman couldn't hold back and gagged a few times, nearly vomiting. I was clutching my stomach behind the peephole, cackling with laughter. The next second my door was pounded with a deafening bang-bang, shaking the ceiling along with it. I cracked the door open, just a slit, and the bald guy's finger nearly jabbed me in the eye as he roared, "Was it you, motherfucker?" I put on my most innocent face. "What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me, who else? But you could left that stinking shit at my doorstep. Did you actually see me taking a dump at your door? Someone smeared shit on my door too. I was suspecting you. Was it you?" The bald man violently yanked my door open and reached for my collar, but I swiftly caught his wrist. When it came to brute strength, I was no weaker than him. At this moment, the bald man's wife came out to back him up. She stood behind her man, hands on her hips, and started cursing like a shrew. "Stop playing dumb here. Don't think we don't know what you're scheming, you rotten-hearted black lunge bastard. Do this kind of thing, and watch your son be born without an asshole. Son of a bitch, you shameless piece of trash. May you die a horrible death." TSK, getting all defensive just takes the fun out of it. You smeared shit on my door, and I didn't even react like this. No matter how much the couple cursed at me, my response remained the same from start to finish. Don't know, not clear, wasn't me. Anyway, the main strategy is to stubbornly deny everything. The bald guy had no proof and couldn't grab me with his wrist pinned, so he yanked his hand away, resentfully, practically grinding his teeth, as he said, "Fine, you'd better watch your back from now on, kid. Mark my words today, this isn't over between us." The stench of Scatol lingered stubbornly, leaving the opposite apartment, reeking like an exploded septic tank for days. The whole building was buzzing about whether the couple in 1601 was dumping unflushed waste at their doorstep daily. Furious, the pair lashed out in the group chat, demanding everyone stop gossiping. The aunt downstairs, hearing about my conflict with the neighbors, fretted for me. "Xiao Zhou, that couple is notoriously unreasonable. They have no moral boundaries. If they make trouble for you, neither the property management nor the police will be any help. Now who knows which of us will be the first to crack and call the cops." 6. The next evening, while I was cooking at home, the power suddenly went out. That shouldn't be possible. I just paid the electricity bill yesterday. Almost immediately one thought came to mind. I went out to check the electric meter box in the hallway, and sure enough, the circuit breaker on my side had been switched off by someone. The door across the hallway was tightly shut, appearing perfectly calm on the surface. It has to be said, these disgusting behaviors from the neighbor throwing feces and cutting off electricity are truly vile. They catch you off guard and leave no evidence. Even if you catch them red-handed and report them to the police, the officers would at most give them a lecture, unable to do anything substantial. Any decent person stuck dealing with such scoundrels would find it nothing short of torment. But now they've encountered me. The ones who suffer and be tormented can only be them. I smiled, faintly, calmly reset the circuit breaker, then turned and went back inside. Not long after, the power went out in the house again. Just like before, I silently went out and flipped the switch back on. The third time the power went out, I calmly pushed open the door. A bald man was standing beneath the circuit breaker box, gripping the switch tightly in his right hand. When he saw me come out, his expression instantly turned somewhat flustered. "What's the deal? Having fun with the circuit breaker?" The bald man held his breath and strained, but his hand didn't budge an inch. I laughed. "This is quick, drying super glue, pretty strong, huh?" The bald guy finally realized he'd fallen in my trap. "Fuck your mother, you tricked me. You maliciously cut my power. I could call the police on you after doing this repeatedly. Who knows if my appliances are damaged? If anything's broken, you'll be buying me brand new ones." When I mentioned compensation, the bald man nearly jumped out of his skin. "Bullshit, what malicious power cut? I just want to turn off my own switch. And got it wrong, that's all. Seriously, your eyesight's that bad wrong. Switch 3 times. I've been at home all afternoon and just came out. Who are you accusing with your 3 times nonsense? Got any proof?" 7. TSK. Sounds like a seasoned scoundrel the moment you open your mouth. I looked at him and nodded. I really don't have any proof. Then you'd better be careful next time you mess with the circuit breaker. After all, my house has plenty of glue this time. It's the circuit breaker. Who knows what it'll be next time? Maybe someone has doorknob. With that, I went back inside. Fuck your mother, fuck your mother. The bald man was both anxious and furious, his face red and neck thick with anger, but now all he could do was curse at me. There was nothing else he could do. His wife came out and called him a stupid pig, then said she read online that hot water could dissolve it. She grabbed a cup of water and was about to splash it on him. Terrified, the bald man even turned on his wife. Are you an idiot? Are you trying to electrocute me? You were yelling at me. I was just trying to help. And you dare yell at me? Who are you calling a pig? How have you lost your damn mind? Well, it's turned into an internal conflict now. After nearly an hour of the couple's struggle, the bald man was practically bursting to pee before his hand was finally freed. His first move was to rush to my door again, shouting curses and kicking it. I was already lying in bed, scrolling through Douyin. No matter how much he yelled, I wasn't going out, let him scream. All he wanted to not me, who s getting exhausted. Finally, the bald man kept cursing for nearly half an hour before finally calming down. In the middle of the night, just as I was sleeping soundly, the doorbell suddenly rang. It turned out to be a food delivery guy asking me to open the building entrance from downstairs. Did you press the wrong door? The delivery guy said with certainty, building 7 unit 1602, that's right, it's yours, buddy, hurry up and open the door, my delivery time is almost up. I was puzzled who would order me takeout at 3 a.m. All this commotion completely wiped away my drowsiness. Just as the food arrived, the bald man suddenly darted out from across the hall and snatched the takeout from my hands in the blink of an eye. That's mine. Both the delivery guy and I were stunned. The bald man showed his phone order. It really was his. The delivery guy apologized to me. Sorry about that, bro. But the bald man showed no remorse whatsoever, giving me a rather unfriendly look before grabbing his food and heading back inside. I'm pissed off and asked him what he meant by ordering takeout with my address in the middle of the night. The bald guy snorted through his nose. Must be filled it in wrong by accident. What, can't you even understand such a small thing? Yeah, right, I couldn't help but say, well, if I ever accidentally get the address wrong in the middle of the night someday, you'll have to understand too. The bald guy immediately turned to glare at me. You dare my wife is pregnant. If you dare disturb us at night and make her uncomfortable, make the baby in her belly uncomfortable, can you handle the consequences? Oh, the dragon baby alert is back. I didn't say anything more, just politely gestured for him to take his time leaving. A few days later at 3 in the morning again, the doorbell rang once more. Hello, food delivery. I put on my coat directly and said into the intercom, no need to bring it up, I'll come down and get it. After picking up the takeout, I took the elevator to the 15th floor, then tiptoed back home via the stairs. It was so quiet that not even the motion sensor lights in the hallway turned on. Back home, I opened the takeout. Good Lord, braised pork spines, spicy chicken, gizzards, spicy crayfish, ice cold beer. This bald guy sure eats well in the middle of the night. A few minutes later, my front door started banging, bang, bang, bang again. I'm really afraid one day they break this door down. Open up, you idiot. Give me back my damn takeout. I smacked my lips loudly through the door. Perfect timing. I was just hungry. This meal is great. Thanks for the treat. The volume outside the door suddenly spiked. Fuck your mother. The bald guy was furious. I had eaten his takeout, and since I refused to show myself, he couldn't take it anymore and call the police. 9. Even if the police came, I still had to open the door. The moment I opened the door, I was met with the bald man as murderous glare, his wife standing right beside him. The couple excitedly accused me of deliberately stealing their takeout and demanded I compensate them. The police weren't fools to be led by the nose. They carefully examined the bald man's takeout order on his phone and asked why he'd written my address. The bald man said righteously, well, he asked unit 01 and I'm 02. Mistakes happen, but he knew damn well it was his order, yet shamelessly took and ate it anyway. The officer asked me, did you eat the takeout? I shook my head. No, I didn't. The bald man shouted, impossible. If you didn't eat it, how would you know what was inside? His wife chimed in, he did it on purpose. He ate our takeout and has to compensate us. I sighed helplessly. Use your brain, will you? The receipt clearly lists everything inside. Unlike some people, I'm not as stupid as a pig. Who the hell are you calling names? All right, stop fighting. The officer stepped between me and the bald guy, then said to me, since you claim you didn't eat it, just return the takeout immediately and we'll consider this matter closed. I handed the completely untouched takeout to the bald man. Seeing the food indeed hadn't been tampered with, the bald guy looked momentarily surprised. Then why didn't you open the door just now? You were so aggressive, looking like you wanted to eat someone alive at first glance. Who would dare? You, the police officer, was exasperated having to deal with such trivial matters in the middle of the night. Before leaving, he reprimanded the bald man. Don't get the delivery address wrong again. When ordering late night food, this whole mix-up was ultimately your mistake to begin with. The bald man became meek and submissive before the officer, repeatedly nodding in agreement. The moment the police left, his expression changed instantly, and I wondered what filth was about to spew from his mouth. Picking my nose, I said, I really didn't eat the takeout. I just opened each one and added a little something, but don't worry, it's just a bit gross. Definitely won't kill anyone. With it, I flicked my thumbnail against my pinky nail. The bald man's face twisted. What do you mean explain yourself clearly? I slammed the door shut with a bang. Figure it out yourself, dumbass. 10 The couple still hadn't left my doorway. Honey, what about this takeout? Why even ask? Aren't you disgusted? Eat it yourself if you want. Goddammit, this was all your stupid idea. In the end, the couple didn't eat that takeout. After all, the woman just left it right at my doorstep. The next day when I went out, I gave a flying kick and sent it right back to them. After this battle, things finally quieted down. No one rang my doorbell in the middle of the night anymore, disturbing my peaceful sleep. The despicable couple hit another snag with me, and I wonder what underhanded tactics they try next. To be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to it. And they certainly didn't disappoint. Someone stole my package across the hall. I'm absolutely certain because I installed a smart peephole camera which caught the bald man's wife sneaking around outside my door before making off with a box of my uncollected Papita oranges. A 5 box worth less than 30 yuan total. Petty, how utterly petty. A few days later, a large box appeared at my doorstep, its packaging labeled Premium 5J Cherries 10-pound pack. The woman from across the way came out to throw away trash, noticed the box, and was overjoyed. She quickly went back inside to call the bald man to help. The bald man also grinned foolishly and carried the box home without hesitation. I watched them through my phone's surveillance camera and chuckled along. No one knows what reaction the couple would have when they gleefully opened the box, only to find not a single 5J cherry inside, but a crate full of plump white maggots squirming densely together. Originally, I had planned to send a box of cockroaches, but considering those pests might scurry into neighbors' homes and harm the innocent, the first had to abandon the idea. This time, the bald man and his wife both went completely berserk. Since I wasn't home and they couldn't find me, they had no choice but to vent their anger by cursing in the group chat. Mixed doubles, crazy guy and crazy woman cursing with the filthiest words. But not a word about stealing my package. 11 The group members couldn't take it anymore and told him to watch his words, but the bald guy started attacking, indiscriminately threatening to harass anyone who spoke up for me at their doorstep. He tagged me, saying he'd do nothing else but wait for me today, vowing to teach me a lesson if I dared show up. When I returned after 8 p.m., the bald man was indeed sitting on a chair at my doorstep, holding a baseball bat. He abruptly stood up when he saw me. But in an instant, his ferocious expression, like a vicious dog, vanished, and he tucked his tail between his legs, the raised baseball bat awkwardly frozen mid-swing. The police officer behind me asked, "Is that him?" I nodded. "You are now suspected of stealing others' property with the amount involved exceeding 1,000 yuan. Come with us to the station." The bald man, who had been fuming and ready to settle scores with me, panicked when he heard he was now the suspect. "No, officer, when did I ever steal anything? I didn't do it." I picked up my phone and showed him the surveillance screenshot. "The video evidence is crystal clear, and you still dare deny it was you." The bald man was momentarily stunned when he saw the surveillance footage on my phone, then immediately started cursing. "Go to hell, that box never had any cherries in it, officer. It was full of maggots. Do I have shit for brains to buy myself a box of maggots? These are clearly the cherries I bought online. I still have the purchase records right here." Though the bald man had stolen in the first place this time, he'd genuinely been framed by me. His eyes immediately turned red as he lunged at me to throw a punch, but the police restrained him in one swift motion. Without a word, the officers slapped handcuffs on him. "Move, come quietly with us for questioning." The bald man couldn't explain his way out of this, even if he tried. His wife nearly threw a tantrum when she saw him about to be taken away, insisting it was just a box of maggots that the bald man had already thrown into the neighborhood trash bin. But when the police followed them to check, there was no such large cardboard box in the trash, let alone anything as disgusting as a box full of maggots. Of course, the couple never imagined that the moment they discarded the maggots, I was right behind them, covering up the evidence. My phone had the purchase records, and ironclad proof of the bald man taking my package. No matter how much he protested his innocence, he couldn't clear his name. So the final outcome was either we settle privately with him compensating my losses, or he gets detained for 5 to 10 working days for intentional assault. The bald guy naturally had no choice but to painfully pay up. On the day I received the 1,000 yuan compensation, I bought another box of cherries and left them on my doorstep. I even specifically posted in the neighborhood group chat that anyone who wanted some could come, take them from my place, no charge. That entire day, I heard constant banging and crashing from across the hall. The couple was either throwing things or arguing nonstop. It just so happened I had a business trip for a while, giving me a few peaceful days. But who could have imagined that upon my return, the couple across from me had prepared another surprise for me? Damn, and I couldn't find my own front door. I came back in the dead of night. I was so focused on looking at my phone after stepping out of the elevator that I hadn't taken 2 steps before a dull thud. I felt like I walked straight into a wall. Looking up, I was stunned. A floor-to-ceiling wooden cabinet completely blocked the less than 2-meter wide hallway. I pushed against it, but the cabinet didn't budge an inch. My first thought was that the neighbor across the hall had deliberately moved their cabinet out here. But then I thought again, there's no way such a massive cabinet could have been moved out through the door. That left only one possibility. It had been built right there in the hallway. Unbelievable, this move absolutely fucking blew my mind. To deal with me, that couple really went all out. They must have thought that being locked out of my own home would drive me into a rage, forcing me to demand they tear down the cabinet immediately, or maybe they expected me to break it down myself, giving them the perfect excuse to demand compensation. No matter what, they're happy as long as they can annoy me and ruin my mood. It was the middle of the night, and I couldn't be bothered to argue with them since the cabinet wouldn't be moved anytime soon anyway. I decisively checked into a hotel near the neighborhood for the night. The next day, I went looking for the bald man, but no one was home. When I went to the property management, they immediately started making excuses as soon as they heard it was about the neighborhood bully in Unit 1601 Building 7. They suggested I might as well call the police. Last time I called the police was to make the bald guy pay a little, but this time it wouldn't makes sense since he wants to play games. I'll see it through with him. I had the property management call the bald guy, then I took over the conversation. He didn't deliberately avoid the call, but arrogantly claimed he'd already accompanied his wife back to her parents' home with no fixed return date, saying we discussed the cabinet issue after he returned. I insisted it had to be resolved immediately, and the bald guy immediately started shouting angrily over the phone, "This is a cabinet I paid for myself to use. If you dare tear it down, you'd better compensate me 10,000 yuan first." That piece of junk cabinet dares to cost 10 grand. I knew that old bastard was up to something. Last time I scammed him out $1,000, he probably couldn't sleep at night from the misery. I smiled faintly. "Don't worry, I promise. I won't dismantle your cabinet." "How, you're not dismantling it?" The bald man clearly didn't expect me to say that, his voice full of astonishment. "Not dismantling? Didn't you tell me not to dismantle it?" "You anyway, I'm warning you, even the slightest damage won't be tolerated. If my cabinet gets so much as a scratch from you, you'll have to pay for it." As it happened, I had a friend who ran a renovation company. I borrowed 2 experienced craftsmen from him, and we spent an entire day carefully removing the cabinet doors and panels, unscrewing every bolt from the wall, then following the same method to reassemble everything exactly as it was. The difference was this time, I placed the cabinet right opposite their doorway. With the roadblock finally dealt with, I then noticed the peephole on the door had been smashed. The bald man and his wife returned the next day. When they saw that wall blocking their own doorway, the couple stood frozen at the elevator entrance for several long minutes. This time he had no reason to pick a fight with me. He said it was his cabinet, so I moved it over to his side. He said not to damage it. Fine. I restored it to exactly how it was. Not a single flaw to be found. The bald man could never have imagined that after all that backbreaking effort, he ended up digging his own grave. But no matter how angry he was, there was nothing he could do but slink away and have someone dismantle that cabinet. TSK, that couple who could never hold their tongues actually stayed quiet for a whole week after suffering this loss and didn't come to trouble me again. But I wasn't naive enough to think they'd truly swallow their pride. If they merely disliked me at first, now they must be itching to stab me to death. 14 One night my buddy called me out for drinks again, and by the time I headed back, the streets were completely empty. There was an abandoned dirt road near my neighborhood. As I passed by, couldn't hold it in anymore, so I turned in to relieve myself. Just as I pulled up my pants, I felt a sharp pain in my back. When I turned around, I saw 2 men, one fat, one thin, both wearing masks and hats. Though the light was dim, I still recognized one of them, that short, stocky figure with the vicious, triangular eyes. Who else could it be but Baldy? Well, if you can't out-hooligan me, you resort to brute force. No wonder Baldy had been lying low all these days. He was biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike under cover of darkness in this deserted camera-free spot. I rubbed my shoulder, pretending not to recognize him. "Buddy, I don't have anything valuable on me, and this is a society governed by law. You might want to think twice before making a move." The skinny guy next to the bald man, wielding an iron rod, completely ignored my words. After exchanging a glance with the bald man, he swung the rod at me again. At this point, reasoning would just be impolite. Without a moment's hesitation, I delivered a flying kick straight to his solar plexus. I've trained to make that kick would definitely be too much for this scrawny guy. He staggered a few steps and collapsed to the ground, unable to get up for quite a while. The bald guy also came charging at me, swinging his iron rod. Unfortunately, his movements seemed painfully slow to me. They only got me once with that sneak attack earlier. I easily wrested the rod from him. I just kept hammering at the same spot on his shin, hitting it relentlessly. "Ah!" The bald man screamed, as if the world were ending. For someone who usually looked so tough and burly, he turned out to be such a pushover. After just a dozen hits, he was already rolling on the ground, clutching his leg. Seeing me wind up for another swing with the stick, the bald man yelled, "Are you trying to kill me? I'll have you know we live in a society governed by law. Think carefully about what you're doing." That exactly what I just said. I'm fucking dying of laughter. Seeing that the lesson had been sufficiently taught, I threw down the stick and left. But I regretted it as soon as I got back. I regret going too easy on that bald guy. After all, it's not often you get a chance to beat someone up without worrying about them calling the police. When I woke up the next day, the neighborhood group chat was buzzing with everyone discussing the bald guy's situation. Turns out I deep broken the bald guy's leg. He had to call an ambulance in the middle of the night, causing quite a scene when they took him to the hospital. With a fractured leg, he had no choice but to be hospitalized. During the bald man's hospital stay, all the neighbors in the building seemed to breathe easier. No more worrying about running into that deranged couple while walking the dog or being chased and yelled at for looking at your phone in the elevator. Some even said it would be a godsend if that family moved out for good. A week later, the bald man returned home from the hospital. His wife supported him as they walked, followed by a skinny guy with a head full of yellow hair. Look at that figure. It's identical to that skinny monkey who ambushed me that night. It happened to be a Saturday. I was debating whether to order takeout or cook for myself when suddenly several loud bangs on the door startled me. I went out to check and saw the bald man's wife smashing my fingerprint lock with a hammer. What the hell is this crazy woman up to now? She shook her head with a cocky gangster girl attitude, her eyes full of defiance. Got a problem with that? I smiled faintly. No problem at all. If anything gets broken, you will just pay for it. One TU. Me pay for it in your dreams. We haven tea. Even settled the score with you for my husband's broken leg yet. Now you're just making baseless accusations. How is your husband's broken leg my fault? Just because we've had our differences, does that mean I'm to blame if he loses his appetite, can't take a shit, or becomes infertile in the future? The bald man's wife turned deathly pale in an instant, as if I truly struck a nerve. What the hell are you talking about, you bastard? 16, she suddenly flew into a rage like a madwoman, lunging at me recklessly to claw my face. Just as her nails were about to land on my face, I grabbed her arm. Mindful that she was pregnant, I didn't use much force, just gently pushed her away. Yet the woman acted as if hit by a car, staggering backward several meters before plopping down on the ground. Then she started wailing at the top of her lungs, assault a grown man, beating up a pregnant woman. My eyebrows shot up, just then Skinny Monkey came darting out from the opposite door. Hey sis, you okay? My stomach hurts so bad. The bald man's wife clutched her belly, her face twisted in pain. I couldn't take it anymore. Cut the act, lady, your performance is terrible. The bald man had somehow appeared at his doorstep, leaning on a crutch, holding up his phone to record the scene. The skinny guy snarled at me, you fucking bastard, you keep making trouble for my sister and brother-in-law every day. What did they ever do to you? How can you live with yourself bullying two decent folks? I'm telling you now, if anything happens to my sister or the baby in her belly, I'll make you pay with your life. Holy shit, what did I just hear? Decent folks? If this couple counts as decent folks, then there are hardly any wicked people left in this world. My gaze swept over the three of them. Fine, I'll be waiting. That night, the homeowners group chat exploded. The bald man released an edited video showing me pushing his wife, after which she sat on the ground, clutching her stomach, and crying. The yellow-haired guy shouted, listen here, if anything happens to my sister or the baby in her belly, I'll make you pay with your life. The video ended with his wife lying on a hospital bed alongside a medical diagnosis certificate. It read, the pregnant woman shows symptoms of threatened miscarriage. 17 beating a pregnant woman leading to miscarriage, that's no minor charge. So the couple teamed up with Skinny Monkey to find me all to put on this act. I'm in agony right now. I truly can't imagine how some people could be so vicious over minor neighborhood disputes, repeatedly causing trouble for us, threatening, blackmailing, and extorting us now. They've even beaten me until I fracture a bone and nearly caused my 3-month pregnant wife to miscarry my wife, and I've been married for 5 years, and it took us so long to finally have our child. But now we don't even know if our baby can be. Save, what exactly did we do wrong? Is there no justice left? Is there no law anymore? The bald man's little essay appeared utterly heartfelt, every word accusing me of being some irredeemable criminal. Neighbors in the group chat gradually started speaking up, though most were skeptical. The aunt from downstairs was the first to defend me. To be honest, I don't believe Xiao Zhou is that kind of person. How could he possibly lay a hand on your wife, that young man? Just ISNT like that. An unmarked account chimed in, yeah. If we're talking about who the real villain in this building is, well, we all know who that is without saying. I've watched the video several times and still can't see 1602 using any force. The bald man exploded in anger. Are you all blind? Can't you see the medical report? Does the word miscarriage mean nothing to you? This ISNT something I faked. A female resident immediately replied, a threatened miscarriage ISNT the same as an actual miscarriage. I had it too when I was pregnant. Besides physical trauma, it could also be caused by embryo quality issues or maternal malnutrition. The bald man couldn't out-argue the crowd, so he had me again. No matter how much you all say it's useless, I've already gathered all the evidence and will call the police immediately. Just wait for the law to punish you. I replied to him, maybe don't call the police, just yet there's no need to escalate things. The bald man thought I was scared. It's too late for regrets now. You didn't think about the consequences when you hit my wife. If you want me not to call the police, then pay up. TSK, tisk. It always comes down to money in the end. Playing along, I asked, so how much do you want to pay? Medical expenses, nutritional costs, emotional damages, at least 100,000. And if anything really happens to my wife's pregnancy, you'll owe us 500,000. If you don't pay, I'll sue you into the ground. I smiled and finally played the trump card I'd been holding on to for so long. For another man's child, do you really think all this trouble is worth it? 18, the bald man immediately sent a voice message. What the fuck are you talking about? Keep spouting nonsense and I'll tear your fucking mouth apart. He sounded like he was on the verge of rage. He wouldn't shed a tear until he saw his own coffin. Unhurried, I began posting the evidence I'd prepared in my phone one by one into the group chat. The first photo showed his wife opening the door for a tall man with a timestamp in the upper right corner reading 11:50 p.m. on August 22nd. The second photo shows the man coming out the door with a timestamp reading 7:20 a.m. on August 23rd. The third photo captures his wife at a restaurant embracing the same man. The fourth piece is a video where his wife stands in a corner, visibly angry, saying a paternity test can only be done after the child is born. Each piece of evidence was more explosive than the last. I added, whether I push your wife or not, I know you know, and your wife knows even though you're a real bastard as a kind-hearted man, I can't bear to see you defending her like this only to end up raising another man's child while being cheated on. The bald man fell silent. The others in the group also fell silent, sinking into a deathly stillness. The bald man must be completely broken by now. Who would have thought that I'd be the one to catch his wife cheating? On the third night after the bald man was hospitalized, my phone's surveillance app suddenly popped up a message alerting me that movement had been detected in the footage. I casually clicked open and saw a tall man stepping out of the elevator walking straight toward the opposite side. The door opened quickly. The bald man's wife seemed to have known someone was coming, showing no surprise at all. With a smile, she immediately pulled the man inside. It wasn't until the next morning that the man emerged from across the way. Such an explosive discovery, of course, I couldn't let it pass. I spent some money to hire someone to tail the bald man's wife. For a few days, heaven rewards the diligent. And sure enough, we finally captured photos of their secret rendezvous along with that video. 19, the bald man left the group chat. He even tried adding me as a friend afterward, but I ignored him. Not a single word was exchanged between the two, yet it felt as if everything had been said. I went about my daily routine, leaving early and returning late, and for 2 whole weeks, I didn't run into the couple. The bald man didn't come looking for trouble with me again either. Well, after I publicly exposed such a huge family scandal, any man would be crushed. How could he possibly have the energy left to fight with me? The last time I saw the couple was one night, half a month later. I came back from my night jog to find the opposite door wide open, hearing the bald man inside roaring, "Get the hell out. I bought this damn apartment. It's got nothing to do with you." Then a suitcase came flying out. The bald man's wife stumbled out sobbing so hard she could barely breathe when she saw me standing by the elevator, her eyes burned with pure hatred. I stepped aside to make way, gesturing toward the elevator with exaggerated courtesy. She glared at me, picked up her suitcase, and left in a huff. The bald man came out to close the door and saw me, too, his expression growing even more interesting. It wasn't exactly embarrassment or anger, just not a pleasant look by any means. With a loud bang, he slammed the door shut. The next evening when I returned, I heard in the homeowners group chat that the people from Unit 1601 had already moved out and the property was listed for sale at the management office. I hadn't expected the bald man to move out, let alone so quickly. A month later, a couple who were teachers moved in across the hall. On their very first day, the couple brought me a housewarming gift and softly said we should look out for each other in the future, which made me feel rather embarrassed. Occasionally, I still think about the bald guy. Such an extraordinary neighbor, I doubt I'll ever come across another like him in this lifetime. The end.